Welcome to Book Chasing TV. I'm John Purcell, and I'm here with Dan Gregory and Kieran Flanagan to talk about selfish, scared, and stupid. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I don't want to take offence, but I'm a pretty clever fella, and I started reading this book and I was told I wasn't clever, and that I'm pretty much the title. I'm selfish, scared, and stupid. Why am I selfish, scared, and stupid?
Well, I don't think that this necessarily takes away the fact that you're clever. In fact, we're all clever some of the time. What the book's really about is the fact that our survival brain actually has primacy in our decision making. So it calls dibs on all of our decisions. And being selfish, scared and stupid actually isn't a bad thing. It's actually why we survived as a species. Being selfish made us look out for number one. Being scared made us mitigate the risks that we faced. And being stupid made us look for the simplest, easiest solution to our problem. So it's actually a survival mechanism. The only problem is we tend to think of it as a negative, so we try to deny it a bit, and that's a problem.
So I should just embrace these attributes of myself, deep within. Run when I'm scared.
Definitely. I mean, we talk about it as swimming with the current of human nature. So what do you learn when we grow up in Australia about swimming the ocean? You learn to swim if you're caught in a rib with the current, ideally, or across it, but preferably with it because it will take you eventually out and back around towards shore. But too often we swim against it, which means we get tired, we don't get anywhere, and without rescue we probably drown.
So it kind of makes sense. What you're telling us is to look at our basic self and let it at least give us some answers in some form.
Yeah, but most of the time in our lives, whether we do it with ourselves, whether we do it with our teams, or whether we do it with our customers, if that's who we're dealing with, we tend to rely on people being not selfish, but selfless, bold, and incredibly intelligent. And what we're suggesting is that's not a great thing to rely on. So one of the reasons that we fail so much in life is that we fail to plan for failure. In other words, compare that to, say, the airline design industry, the people who make planes. They've designed planes such that they can keep flying even if one of the engines goes out. So on 50% power, they can stay in the air and land safely. Now, what would happen to your business or anyone's business that's watching this if 50% of their employees didn't show up? They'd crash and burn, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. 50%, according to Nielsen Research, or Gallup Research rather, 50% of the workforce is disengaged in the work that they're doing. So only 50% are really showing up anyway. And then we worry why we're having so much trouble in our business. So rather than designing a business model based on the fact that, well, we need everyone to be at 100%, otherwise we're going to fail, is how do we create systems and processes in our business such that our businesses can still function and can still get done what we need to get done, even when people are disengaged.
I've been involved in small businesses, restaurants and the like, where you see that failure to understand how things are actually running. So they have a few quiet days and they decide not to put the staff on.
Yep.
So then they suddenly have business and they can't run it and they lose those customers forever because the service was terrible. Isn't it? I know that you're finding good reasons in there, but it's a sort of a kind of a pessimistic view of humanity. We're always told that we've got to go do it and get there and do the best we possibly can. Is this realism something that can motivate somebody? I mean, do we need to have those high off goals to motivate, or can these quite practical views change things?
Well, we think the self-help industry has a lot to answer for because they've blown smoke up our butts for years, let's face it, and that they've actually demotivated us in a way because we feel not enough. You know, we feel unless we're these uber achievers out taking on the world, being our wonderful, magnificent individual snowflake selves, if we're not that, we feel depressed and we feel not enough. So it's about working with who we are and saying, you know what, being selfish, scared and stupid is wonderful. Selfish, scared and stupid has made us the dominant species on the planet. Selfish, scared and stupid, when you find it in businesses, actually makes for businesses that are engaged and successful. It's just that we put meaning onto those words in a negative and we hide it. Yeah. It's about changing the meaning of those words in a way and understanding that if we work with our natures, which are wonderful and capable of great stuff, we can achieve more and not beat ourselves up in the process.
And it's also about understanding that discipline and motivation are short-term strategies. You know, no one is disciplined all of the time. No. And no one is disciplined in every part of their lives. You know, and what we found is design beats discipline in the long run. So if you design for success rather than relying on discipline to get you there, let me give you an example. So I've been trying to spend more time at home. You know, I'm a
Away from
workaholic.
me.
I'm a workaholic. I spend a lot of time at the office, but it doesn't matter how motivated I am to leave work, how disciplined I am about closing the laptop down and getting on the road. I just haven't been able to get enough time at home. So Kieran and I did the numbers. What we found out is I've got an hour's commute to work, which means I've got an hour's commute home, which is 2 hours a day, or roughly 10 hours a week. That's one long day every week, times 52 weeks, factor in weekends. That's 2 whole months every year away from home. Motivation can't solve that problem. Discipline can't solve that problem. It's a design failure. If all I did, if I was no more motivated, no more disciplined, if all I did was be selfish, scared and stupid and move half an hour closer to work or move my office half an hour closer to where I live, instantly, without any extra effort, I get an extra month at home every year.
You're talking directly to me because I'm now travelling an hour.
You now drive an hour. No, but exactly right.
Yeah.
But most people don't do that kind of math in their head.
No, I didn't do it.
No.
No, you're just depressed.
No, but and that's what we do. And we go, and so John beats himself up and says, I'm just not seeing enough of my family, bloody, bloody, blah. And you blame yourself for not being able to control your life when it's actually the design that's the issue. And that's what we're really talking about. How do we design with our primitive brain in mind, our survival brain in mind, rather than beating ourselves up? Which is what happens. What happens with motivation and these lofty goals is we try to do something, then we fail, and we actually fall lower than we were before. Because all of a sudden we're reinforcing behaviour that we're not good at achieving.
Yeah.
When in fact what we should be doing is going, well actually it's the environment and the system that I built around that goal that wasn't supporting it. And that's what we're really talking about. It's actually how do we bias towards success as opposed to just expecting success to show up.
What will people find when they read Selfish, Scared and Stupid? What are the roads and the roadmap they take when they pick up this book?
I think 50% of people are going to find a reason to give it to someone they don't like. I think what people are going to find is a greater understanding of humanity and a greater forgiveness for who we are. And I think once you get to that point where you accept, actually, this is true, this is who we are, what you then have is a freedom to discover strategies and possibilities for being more effective. And it's all about the human parts of business, whether you're a leader, whether you're in sales or marketing, whether you're trying to motivate yourself even. It's actually understanding those human characteristics of business. And they're the parts of business where the breakage happens.
And we've got some tips and techniques and ideas of how you can do those things. So ways in which you can think selfish, think scared and think stupid. For us it was really important that how do people go about implementing this into their worlds and how do they start accessing that point of view. And it's really interesting because even working with some companies, we've been doing it as a program for them, and it's amazing how quickly the language of, oh, okay, what's the selfish, scared and stupid part of this becomes useful and something they can apply across their business. So we wanted to make sure it was simple and easy to use for people as well.
And I think that's the important thing is understanding that thinking selfish, scared and stupid isn't acting selfish, scared and stupid.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that we all come from a selfish, scared and stupid perspective. And one of the things that we've found, working with people like the Cancer Council, working with I'm on the board of White Ribbon, what we found is charities do better when they think selfish. So in other words, the more I talk about what's in it for you as someone who donates or gets involved,
Yeah.
and the less I talk about the people that we're trying to help, the more effective we are in terms of engaging people. In other words, something like the ALS Bucket Challenge, we were talking about that earlier this morning. They don't tell you anything about ALS. It's all about the people who get involved and all about the people who contribute money, and as a result they've done over 100 million in the United States and over £8 million in the UK. Again, by thinking selfish, not talking about their agenda, but talking about here's what's in it for you, they've actually got a greater level of involvement.
Thank you very much for both coming in and talking to me about your new book.
Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Selfish, Scared and Stupid is available from booktopia.com.au right now.